Hello, welcome back to Tweet Your Leader You podcast, where we chat about realistic leadership theories. On today's podcast, we're continuing with the entrepreneurship series, welcoming amazing Black women who are doing amazing things in community, who are being their unique self and bringing creativity. And we're so happy to have Erika Campbell from Anae's Properties with us today. And Erika is an amazing entrepreneur. I met her at a pitch competition here in Halifax, Nova Scotia. And so I'm so happy to talk with you, Erika, today. But I would like to acknowledge that we are in the Discovery Center today. And so if you hear a little bit of kids' background noise, it's a beautiful day at the Science Center where amazing things are happening. So let's just grab into the conversation. Welcome, Erika. How are you?
I'm well. Thank you for having me. Thank you both for having me.
It's so good to talk to you today and to see some great things that you're doing in community, but also in this amazing initiative and nonprofit organization to see where we go with this. Thank you so much. So I'll let Josh
So Erika, maybe just introduce yourself to the people and your business.
Yes, so again, I'm Erika Campbell. I co-own Anae Properties. What it is I'm a real estate investor, so I invest in properties, distressed properties. We rent them out. We fix them up first, and then we rent them out. And the company, Anae Properties, manages those properties. So we're not quite nonprofit yet, but we definitely have a community initiative. So that's what we do.
That's really good that it's a community connection. It brings that uniqueness of redesigning, recreating, building it as it should be for continued affordable housing, if I can say that for sure. What is unique about the initiative that you're doing?
The unique thing about what we're doing is we focus on Black and marginalized communities. So you have investors that are for profit, and they invest where they are going to get more bang for their buck, so to speak. But we intentionally invest in Black and marginalized communities where we can help with the growth of those communities, have more rental properties and opportunities, and also so they can see people that look like themselves doing what we're doing.
That's really good. That's really nice to focus on that. That's really, really good. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Yeah, I guess, Erika, the next question is kind of more of a personal one, and it's like, why did you want to get into this business, or why did you want to become an entrepreneur in the first place?
I've always had an entrepreneurial spirit. My father's been an entrepreneur, so straight out of high school, I was helping him with his books or his accounting for his bookkeeping for his company. But more recently, it would have been the pandemic. Okay. We had a rental property in 2019 or 2018, just one that I had with my father that we were managing. And when the pandemic came, I'm secure in my position with my job. However, there's so many people around us that weren't. So it made me think right away about our children and generational wealth, and having something outside of just depending on the 9 to 5, so to speak, right? Creating our own futures, essentially, and having something else to fall back on. So
like legacy was a big part of that.
Legacy, for sure.
Yeah, that legacy piece is always important. Thinking about how to carry on growth for generations of past, and what does that legacy look like for you right now?
That looks like our children not having to get it out of the mud, so to speak.
Yeah.
My parents don't have funds to give me for down payment for homes. They never had that. Yeah. So just when my daughter becomes of age, or when she's at that point where she's like, I want to invest, or I want to have my family grow up in this home. We have that for them. We can pass this down to them. It's theirs, right? So to have that, and then they can pass it down to theirs, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, generational legacy, Josh, is so important. It brings so much passing on the baton. But you also want to make sure that your kids are passionate about what you do, and so engaging them into that perspective. And do you put your kids into the work that you do?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If my son were here, he would say he's voluntold to do some things, but I promise he will definitely one day say, Mom, thank you for doing that with us. with our properties, my husband does the maintenance. So if we're moving washers and dryers or doing a clean for one of the properties, he's on deck. This is what your Saturday looks like. But now I think he's getting to appreciate it more when he knows that he's taking care of something that's, one day his, in the community. And that's another thing. That's one of the other reasons why we focused in the community, because we want them to be able to own something in the communities in which my ancestors are from. So
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah, that's really good.
You touched on that Black community, and I guess next question would be like maybe your message to people like you who wanted to become an entrepreneur or striving to make a business. Your message to those people.
My message would be, don't wait until you know everything. Just kind of jump in and do it. Like I mentioned, when we started in 2018, I knew nothing about managing a property or managing tenants or even how to find good tenants, but we jumped right in. I looked at the podcast, I looked at YouTube, I utilized all of those resources and learned on the job training, so to speak, right? So just jump in and do it, learn as you go.
Yeah, my mom has always told me, he's like, you know what, Tyler, you have to go to YouTube. Google it. If you don't know it, Google it. Like, Google it. It will be a way for you to find all that knowledge. And speaking of my mom, she's my role model that strives me every day to be who I am in public speaking, in public eye, to inspire people in the work. Who would you consider to be your role model or role models? Who inspires you to connect and to be who you are today? Yeah.
I have so many.
Yeah.
But who comes to mind is my grandmother. I think she was an entrepreneur in her own sense. She never had a business, but she ran things, right? So she did everything. She wore all hats. So she definitely. In the community, Tia Upshaw, with Black Women in Excellence, just her grit, her determination, and the fact that she has a no nonsense and a take action kind of personality. And I have a real estate investing coach as well. Her name is Victoria Clooney. Same thing. So business mindset, taking action, and those people would be the pillars of
Yeah, like these people, they are our, I would call, mentor circle of people who we come for emergency support. I call they our emergency support system as well, because like you just need them to vent sometimes. You just need them to talk, say, I'm going through this right now, like who, like help me, give me guidance. And I love that you talked about your grandmother, because grandmothers, they're so sweet. They're really sweet. My grandmother, she's an entrepreneur herself, and I think that's where the entrepreneurial side of me comes from, is from her. Starting at an early age, her and my grandfather started a bakery in the Bahamas, and they have this bakery to this day that's expanding and helping the tourism economy, of helping people and striving to feed the less fortunate and be able, and because my grandmother's a good Christian woman, a minister of the church, and someone who continues to give continuously, and I think that I've gotten that giving spirit from her, because she allows me to see that by example. And we have, I always say, I love for us to go on our road trips to the grocery store. I think it takes like about 30 to 40 minutes drive. And we just have conversations, just random conversations about like giving and being respectful and everything. And do you think that you've gotten like those words of wisdom from your grandmother when continuing your entrepreneurial journey?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
She was the person that put in, you respect people in your community.
Yeah.
If you want to be respected, you respect those people in the community. You do work for somebody, they're going to come back and do the same thing for you, right? So, and even, respecting your elders, and she, in her own way, taught me about, networking, talk to people, get to know people, right? So, definitely a pillar and very influential in my life,
And that's so important. That's definitely important. It helps us to be influenced in so many ways,
So Erika, I guess we're going to kind of shift here in terms of talking about customers now. I know your business is a little bit maybe different than a typical business in terms of clientele, but how do you strive to make a good relationship with those clients that you do have?
Yes. So my clients are my tenants, and it's communication, transparency. I find that with so much going on with, the rental in Nova Scotia, there's definitely some things going on that are very sensitive to people that are, in the rental realm. So I need to let my clients know that we're there. We 100% have their best interest at mind. If there's something that they can apply for in terms of a rebate or anything that's going to help them with their credit, like we have a rental credit bureau that they can that we pay for monthly that they can do, so they're building credit as they're paying their rent, just things like that. Also from day one, we send out a letter to them just to confirm this is how you can contact us, this is when we'll be available, this is the best form of communication. They know that we have their best interest, they know that they're going to be able to get a hold of us, and they know that we're going to be transparent about what's going to be done. We keep our word. If we say that we're going to be there at 2 o'clock to fix something, we're there at 2 o'clock to fix something.
Do you have like a rough estimate of the numbers that you deal with, like clientele numbers?
So right now the tenants that are under our umbrella would be the 6 properties that we manage that are ours, and then we manage a couple for others as well. So that's something that we want to expand on, just not doing just our own, but others as well. Yeah.
That's kind of one of the questions we actually had next is like, in terms of your business, where you want to go next with your business. Is there any kind of expansion ideas or maybe ideas that you want to, better?
Absolutely. So that expanding now that we know, more about the tenant placement and the management part of things, we want to be able to offer that to more, have that the ability to do that for more clientele. Another thing that we want to do is, and this will be another me learning on the job, so to speak, is land development. The good thing for me investing in the Black communities is the properties are a little bit bigger, so we could develop on the land and essentially provide more rental opportunities for people. So again, it will be me just learning as we go along, but attending city meetings, development meetings in order to learn more, develop our network more with that. And then long term, I'm thinking, 2 years out or more, it would be, we want to teach people in the community how to do the same. It would look like online events or meetups, as well as courses, something along that line that'll help people in the community learn to invest in real estate.
Okay.
So.
Wow. Developing, learning, what else did I got from that? And also teaching. That's what entrepreneurship inquires, and I'm so happy that you're developing in those areas and taking that to that journey. And I would love to bring you back on. I think that sharing the journey is always good, and I think we're gonna have a journey recap with this amazing organization, because we want to make sure that we're striving for success when it comes down to property and residential. And I know that the housing crisis is I don't even want to start into that conversation, because that'll be a whole different episode in itself. I think we'll bring you back on for that for sure, because I think that there needs to be a housing roundtable, Josh. I think that there needs to be a housing roundtable of how we can continue to build. And we're starting my co-founder and I were starting a project that leads towards homelessness, and how that comes together and supporting people in the housing, employment, and education, and bridging those gaps and trying to connect. And so I'll be really curious later on and to see how you come up with this amazing areas. Life has lots of challenges, and it brings a lot of different ways of growing. What is a word of encouragement that you got for us? A word, a quote, a saying that will continue to inspire us all, and also the listening audience, to continue to be them, I would say, yeah.
A quote, there's many that I have, but one that comes to mind, I say it all the time, I talk to my children about it, is if you are serious in making or changing your life, you'll find a way. If not, you'll find an excuse. So, yeah.
I like that a lot.
I like that. That's so powerful. That's so powerful. Erika Campbell. I am so happy that Josh and I had the opportunity to interview you, and we look forward to seeing more from your amazing initiative turning into wherever it's going to go. But it's amazing, and I really appreciate you coming on today. Listening audience, as you continue to strive, continue to be a student, to learn, to continue to be a teacher, to teach others, to mentor others. And we thank you so much for coming to this episode, and we'll see you at the next one.